Okay, so we're going to continue now with the laws of the mitzvah of separating challah. So we saw that you can have bread which is called challah, but you didn't separate challah from it, right? Because would that be still kosher? You didn't separate challah from the bread?
Kosher is bread.
The bread could be kosher.
Right.
But what if you didn't take challah from it?
Normal bread?
What?
Normal bread?
Yeah.
That isn't-
Normal bread, so you didn't take challah from it. But could you eat it?
But I feel like I'm thinking I've seen people do this, but now I'm like, is it kosher?
Okay, well, it's going to depend if you were obligated to take challah or not, right? If you bake just a small amount, like we see here, 1.1 kilo, less than that. You bought 1 kilo. Mostly in the store they sell 1 kilo. If you only use that, you don't have to take. You don't take challah from it.
But you don't. But you take halal, but you don't say bracha. I thought.
That's when you have between 1.1 and 1.5 kilos.
Okay,
Then
gotcha.
we're already in the area where maybe you need to take it.
Gotcha.
Right? Maybe it's you have one omer, so then perhaps it's obligated. But you don't say the bracha, because if you don't say the bracha and you still did the actual mitzvah, we're going to see how. Then it's still okay, right? The mitzvah gives something extra. It's not something that means the mitzvah is like something that gives like an extra holiness to doing the mitzvah. But if you did the whole mitzvah, you didn't say the bracha, you still did the mitzvah. It's still considered that you took challah and it's now kosher, right?
I don't get it.
In other words, we have three situations. We have where you have less than 1.1 kilos, where it's exempt. You don't take challah from that, and the bread is totally kosher. It's kosher because it wasn't obligated, so you didn't need to. You weren't supposed to do it. If we have more than 1.5 kilos, so then it's for sure it's obligated, for sure chayav. You must take challah from it, and if you didn't take it, then you cannot eat that bread. It's not kosher, right? So
But then if a non-Jewish person makes the bread, then it doesn't matter how much they make, you can still eat it. If it's, I forget the word.
if it belongs to the flour, say the non-Jewish person went to the store and he bought the flour, it belongs to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't take challah.
Right, so you can still eat it and it
You
would...
could still eat it if you want to be. But of course, if he wants Jewish people to eat it, so then he should say, "Will you put it in the oven for me?"
Right, exactly.
So then it's considered to be Pat Yisrael.
Right, that's what...
And because she's not saying, "Can I give you the flour?" and it belongs to you. She just said, "Just put it in the oven."
Yeah.
So then it still belongs to her, but now it's Pat Yisrael because she had a Jewish person help her make her own challah. Right? It's her challah, so she doesn't. She's not Jewish. She can't do the mitzvah. You're allowed to practice it. You could try. You could practice doing it, but what about when you have in between from 1.1 to 1.5 kilos? That's the area where we're in safek, right? We're not sure. Is it obligated or is it not obligated? So that's where we do it, but we don't say the bracha. So that way we're covered, right? We've done the bracha, we've taken challah. Why didn't say the bracha? Because we can't say Hashem's name in vain. We can't say Hashem's name unless we're sure that we need to say the bracha. So if it's just any time we have a safek brachot lahakel, we're lenient. We don't say it, right? Did I say the bracha on the bread or not? Well, if you're not sure, so you don't say it. Okay. What if you?
Does that apply for?
Yeah.
That applies for everything. Like if you're eating food and you're not sure if you said a bracha.
It applies to everything except in one case, and that's when we talk about the bracha after bread. The after blessing after bread is considered to be obligation from the Torah. At least for men. For women, it's some of a question. Since it says talks about and the oath bris that talks about like the bris milah in that. So such women are obligated in that. But I think if a woman, actually I think also by the woman, if she has a question about it, she also should say the bracha. Because that's from the Torah. Bracha Hamazon, like it says, v'yachalta v'savata v'rakta, you're going to eat. That is talking about bread. Right? All the other brachot the rabbis instituted, but on bread, it's from the Torah. So if we have a question about doing the Torah obligation, then we do it even where we're in doubt.
I have a question. Is there a worksheet for this class? I was trying to find it in the group chat.
We have this paper. Did you get it?
Oh, you didn't get it?
Was it sent?
Yeah.
But I don't do real papers because I lose them immediately. But
I sent it. Yeah, I sent it last. I sent it like Sunday night.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. What if you go to a bakery and they don't, and you're not sure? Even I talked once to a mishkiach. You know what a mishkiach is?
Yeah.
Somebody who checks, certifies, see if it's kosher, right? And this person told me that it was like non-Jewish people that they were taking they were doing the challah, or they didn't take challah. And he was like, what if you didn't know? Maybe they didn't have you thought that it was kosher, but you weren't sure. So if you have a doubt whether they took it or not, you could also take challah yourself. You could see, like if you go buy bread in a place, you don't know if they took challah or not, you could take it yourself.
After it's baked?
Yeah, okay, let's see. Let's continue. We'll see how we do it. Which kind of dough requires challah to be taken? So, number one, any dough baked from the 5 grains, chita, it's wheat, se'orah, barley, shifon, rye, shibola chual, oats, and kosamin is spelt. Okay? I have to buy that today when I go to the store to buy some flour. And any dough for making bread, cakes, cookies, etc., right? It's not only on bread.
Really?
Anytime you make dough, if you make dough, how do you make dough?
But how often are you making a massive cake that's that much?
Okay, maybe you're going to make for a lot of people.
That is so good.
So you're making,
For sure.
as soon as you add flour to water, right? Do as you order, add flour to water. And then you need to take challah from it, right? It doesn't matter that you're also adding other stuff to it. Making pizza, right? Pizza, they also have to take challah if you go. Anytime you mix flour with water, you're going to need to take challah.
What if they use like meat?
Like what?
Like juice or something.
Juice. Okay, that's going to make the bracha on that mizonot. But you could.
We still have to separate.
Since you could also make a meal on mizonot, right? You could make a meal on bread. You could make a meal on mizonot. Also, you could eat a lot of what do they call it? The filled pastries, berekas, right? You can make a meal on that. So also mizonot, like cookies, cakes, anything you put in the flour, and you're baking it. You have to take challah. What if you don't boil it? What if you bake it? So here I'm talking about bagels. I just got back from America. Bagels are like their pitot. Like here you have pitot. In America you have bagels for everything. And
It's really good.
how do you make bagels? What makes it so chewy?
Boiling.
What?
Boiling.
You boil it and then you bake it, right? So that also you have to take challah from it because you are baking it, right? It doesn't matter that it's boiled first.
How do you actually make bagels? Like you make the dough into like the circle and then you just boil that?
And then you bake
And
it
then you
after.
bake it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Ilana Roth, she's a baker. She makes bagels. They're really good.
Here?
What?
Who's the one?
Ilana Roth, she used to be like the administrator of Beirut.
But you live
She left Beirut in order to become a baker, Pat B'melach in Efrat.
Oh,
She's like a champion baker.
cool.
Like a lot of the special breads you find in the bread box there, they're like leftovers from her bakery. Okay, number 4. Let's say you're going to make some cookies and some different kind of cookies, some cakes, some cookies. So you take a lot of flour and you mix it, and you make some cookies, you make some cakes, right? So you have 1 kilo of this, 1 kilo of that. Each one by himself, it's not enough to take challah. But you really want to take challah because, like a lot of people, they say, well, we really want this person to get married, so let's make challah for her. You heard of that?
Yeah, like doing it 40
Right.
days.
Yeah. So she really wants to take challah, but she has different kinds of dough. She has a dough that's just plain for bread. There's another dough, sugar and eggs. So here so what can you do? You want to take challah from this, but you have like each dough by itself is not enough. So here number 4, 2 or more doughs owned by one person, each of which is less than the amount required in the separation of challah. They may collectively add up to the amount requiring challah if you don't care that the doughs are mixed with each other and the doughs are in one vessel, preferably touching, or you place it together on the cloth. So that's not this case what I'm talking about, because here we don't want them to mix together. You don't want cookies in your bread. You don't want bread in the cookies. So let's look at number 5. If different doughs are kept separate, part for bread, part for cake, 2 different kinds of cake, no part by itself is enough to require challah, then the dough is exempt from challah. You can't do it. So what is the case of number 4, where you don't care that they get where you don't care if they get mixed together? So only in that case, let's say like you had different doughs and you didn't care if they got mixed together, then only in that case, then you could put them together and decide that you want them to be joined together to take challah. What would be a case of that? So that's a little bit not so common. But did anybody ever make matzah? You did? When? Why you did that?
Why did I do it?
Because it was Pesach?
Yeah. I did.
Okay, because so when you make matzah, you have to be very careful to bake it right away, right? If you let it sit out for more than 18 minutes, so
Nice.
it rises, start to become chametz, right? So how do you prevent it from becoming chametz? As soon as you need it, put it in the oven, right? So if you're going to have like a big whole thing of dough, and you're kneading it, and putting it in the oven, kneading it, it's going to become longer than 18 minutes, right? So we do it a very small amount at a time. You do enough for like one batch, put it in, and bake it. Now you clean everything, and now you get ready for the second batch.
That's
Right.
so annoying. That's
So
why I have
you-
to make matzah.
Wait, Can you say that again?
You have to bake small amounts at a time. Really, I did it a few times with Rev Daniel. You have like a special person that sits behind everything else with water, and somebody comes up to him with a measured amount of flour. He puts in the water. Then you take that and you knead it, and you have to knead it really good. Keep kneading it. You can't stop kneading it as long as you're kneading it. That was like when they went out from Egypt, right? They were kept it kneading it, and then when they got to a place where they could, their first stop, then they baked it. So we try to bake it before 18 minutes goes by. So you finish all that small amount of dough that you made. You bake it. You have to clean everything, because if you have any dough left over, it could become chametz. Everything is clean. Now you take more flour. Go to the water person. It gives you special water, and you knead that, right? So you're making just a small amount at a time, right? And you don't have enough at one time to take challah. Doing like, for a few people that are going to be kneading it, and then you give it to the people that roll it, and then you bring it to the person that puts it in the oven. So altogether, it's like less than a kilo. So you don't have enough at one time that you bake it in order to take challah. However, after you've been working for several hours, and now you see, wow, we have all these matzot, right? All these matzot, so we have a lot. Now we want to take challah from it. So even though it's already been baked, now we're going to take the challah. Even though we saw in the pasuk, here you go, you see, it says in the pasuk, from your kneading trough, you're going to separate the challah. Right? That's what we saw at the top of the page there. No, not at the top of the page, but in the middle of the page, right, it says, Reishit arosechem challah, from the first part of the dough that's in the kneading bowl, you're going to take the challah. If you didn't do it then, you could do it after. You do it when it's baked, right? So if you bought bread in the store, you didn't know, maybe they didn't take challah, so you could take it after it's baked. It's like what we call bidiyavad, right?
Without a
L'chatchila,
bracha, right?
without, yeah. Well, no, we took with a bracha,
But
because here
that is-
we
you
baked
make
all
the bracha
these
on it.
all these chalot. We baked all these matzot. We couldn't take challah when we were baking them because we had a small amount each time.
No, but in a situation where you don't know if they took.
If you didn't know safek, then you're right, without a bracha. But here by the matzah, so we know we didn't take it. Now we put them all together, cover them all together with one cloth, and now we say the bracha, and we take challah from like a piece from one of them. So that would be where example of number 4, where you have 2 or more doughs or 2 or more breads, which each one is less than the amount, but you can add them together because you don't care that the doughs are mixed. And they're touching, they're placed together on the cloth, and then you can take challah from that. Number 7, which kind of dough requires separating the challah without a blessing? So we gave one example where you have less than 1.1 kilos. For example, 1 kilo, you don't take challah from that. It's not enough. What about when you're not exactly baking it? For example, donuts. Donuts are deep fried in oil. Some people might consider it that it's for certain laws, it may be like baking it. It looks like it's baked, right? If you bake a thing like that, if you boil it in oil, it comes out pretty much the same. It's similar, right? It's similar, but one is sort of like boiled in a liquid. One is baked in dry heat. So it really is different. It's not really baking it. You boiled it in liquid. It's not really baked. So how can you take challah from it? However, because it's a thick dough, so we do take challah from it, but without a bracha. Right? So we're going to do it because It is a thick dough, but since it's not baked, but rather boiled, so you should take it without the bracha. What about pancakes?
Is it? Wait, so is this the heat that's on? It's
Yeah.
like 70 degrees outside.
Hmm?
Oh, you want this one up? The heat?
It's comfortable, I think.
Can we open the window maybe at the same time? So it's
Well,
like-
put it down to 22 if you're. Here, we can put it down to 22. And then we'll.
It's like hot outside.
Right? And before you said 30 degrees, you said we have to put it up to 30
No,
degrees.
no, I didn't say. It said it was 30 on there.
Oh wow.
It's like making me drop.
Is it hitting you in the face?
No, it's just the
You can
storm
also
doors.
tilt it up so it won't blow at you.
Exactly. It supposed to be hot.
No, it's all
Okay,
hot.
we'll see in a few minutes. Now it's 22. Maybe it's going to be better.
Or is it pancakes?
Pancakes. So if you're going to have a big batch of pancakes, right? 1.1 kilos. So we said flour and water. But wait a minute, are we baking it or are we frying it, right? So here, but it's not like the donuts. Donuts, what do? You put it in a deep thing of oil, right? That's called deep frying.
Mm-hmm.
That for sure is not baking. So it's just a fake. But here, we put oil, but not so much. Why are we putting oil here? Just to keep it from sticking to the pan. But it's dry heat. It's just instead of putting it in the oven, you're putting it on top of the fire instead of like in the oven, you're putting it on top of the fire. It's also like baking it, using oil, but the oil is just to keep it from sticking and burning. It's not.
Wow, this is
Like,
the first time I ever
It's
heard
not
of taking
deep
from
frying.
pancakes.
Deep frying is not like baking. Frying with a small amount of oil, that is like baking. So here you see, what does it say? If a small amount of oil, you need challah to be taken with a blessing, unless the batter is very, very thin. So I think, it's like here you could argue about it, but I think if you're making like crepe Suzette, right, it's very, very thin, as opposed to like a pancake,
Waffle,
which
let's
is
say.
a
Or like-
waffle. Okay, that's for sure. Baking, like it's almost like a bread.
Yeah, I never ever
But
took
a
some
pancake also, it's okay. It is a batter. You are pouring it. It's not like it pours out. So I don't know.
But you said before that even if it's cake, let's say, you also have to. So if
Cake is also a batter that pours
so,
out.
that's what I'm saying. So if you think that,
Right.
if not you think, if
But
it's saying that you do from
that's
cake,
what
then
I
it would
saw.
make sense to also do it from
Yeah,
pancakes.
this is what I
Yeah.
saw in different books, that
I never
if
heard
you're
of
making like a really thin crepe, what do you use that for? Because you're going to roll it up. You're going to roll stuff inside there, right? And then you're going to put on there.
chocolate.
And then-
The Icar is not.
How do you make it? What do you
Sprinkles,
put on to set it on
whipped
fire? I love that. Crepe Suzette, right? Where is our French cooking expert here?
Julia.
That they put, what do they put on to set it on fire? I guess some kind of a alcohol, right? Like put on their
What?
brandy, and they set it on fire, right? Never saw that?
No. Maybe I saw like
No. You have
the
to
circle,
watch.
like a big circle. Is that what you're talking about? Like it comes out and it's like a very thin, big.
Very thin. Then you put jam
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something in there. You roll it up, and then
Yeah.
you pour stuff on it, and then you set it on fire, and then people go, ooh la la. You know?
But,
You have to watch some of these cooking programs, like the French Chef. That was great.
I have a question, Rabbi.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Meiser in general when it comes to fruit, to like vegetables from our garden and all
Okay,
that.
yeah, we're going to learn about that.
Yeah, no, but it's surprising to me that the Torah wants us to what feels like waste food. I understand in the time of the Bet HaMikdash that we were giving it to the Kohanim,
Okay.
but
so-
nowadays that we're not, I'm surprised we're not asked to give it to poor people or to give that amount in money in tzedakah. Like the fact that even it's a tiny bit, but the fact that we take a little bit of the tomato, a little bit of the, and we just put it in a bag, and I don't really even know what we do with it. Or even now with challah, what do? We burn it. It's like it's very surprising that the Torah would ask us to do this, in my opinion.
That's true.
The Torah doesn't ask us to do
What?
that.
You don't think it's a waste?
The Torah,
Obviously,
the Torah says, the Torah says
it
to
feels like a waste, right?
give truma and meiser to the Kohen.
So why don't we do that?
The rabbis say, and the Torah says to give just a tiny bit, just a little bit, just the first part. doesn't even say how much. It's at the first part. Like it says, Reshit, Arusu Sechem, the first part. The rabbi said, maybe give them something that they could subsist on. These people are doing a lot of work for you in the Beit HaMikdash. Make sure you take care of them. Give them, I think it's 1/12. And but today, when the Kohanim can't eat it because they're tamei, they're defiled with death.
Also, they can't eat it.
So today they can't eat the challah, they can't eat the truma. So we're not gonna. So the rabbis didn't mean for. So they said we never meant to give them a lot when they can't eat it. We don't want you to waste the food. We're going to go back on what the Torah says, which is just to give them a tiny. That's the minimum amount. The minimum amount. That's enough. That's what the Torah says. The rabbis say when they're actually eating it, then give them a good amount. Like whether if you're an individual, you give them. I think it's 1 in 24. If it's like a bakery, 1 in 48, that will be enough because you're baking a huge amount. But today, where we don't want to waste the food, we just take the minimum amount, which is kol shehu, which is the smallest amount, a crumb, one little crumb, or if you want to be splurged, so give them like 1 olive-sized piece, and then
that's for your challah.
That's for the challah, right? One.
We always do like.
A fistful like that.
Right.
That's like what people usually do, and for vegetables and fruits, you can take even a little bit more than 100. That's much smaller amount.
For example, if tomatoes, then can we cut it a little bit?
Yeah, we'll see when we get to B'Shvat. We're gonna learn about that. But by challah, usually the people want to feel like they're really separating something off and doing it because it's like a mitzvah that's so important. We even do it outside of Israel. So the people, if you're bothered by taking a whole kazai, you could take less. You could take a smaller piece.
I mean, I just find it interesting.
But this is the situation we're in now, that we don't have the paraduma, So that's not the lechatchila of the Torah. That take your food and throw it out. We're not saying to do that. We're saying, let's pray. Let's have the paraduma. Let's get back to where we're really taking care of the kohanim there, and then we're happy to give them the amount that the rabbi said, which is a lot.
In the time of the Beit HaMikdash, I just want to. Maybe you said this in the beginning. I just want to visualize a picture. The kohanim didn't make any money. All they but isn't it true that they only worked once every It's not like really every.
They had 1 week that they would
an entire year
work in the Beit HaMikdash.
So
that's
therefore
the kohanim.
So what would they do the rest of the weeks of the year?
Each family would go there. No, actually, there was 24 families, so each one would have 2 weeks in the year, plus holidays, right? All the chagim they would go, but only 2 Shabbos.
So they couldn't make money
and for 2 weeks in the year.
And what do they do the rest of the year?
The rest of the year, they
learn Torah.
Yeah.
Why are we providing?
They learn Torah. They teach Torah.
Like the Koel people, and then all
they're teaching.
Yeah. No, I'm so happy to provide for them when they're working in our Beit HaMikdash. I'm just curious. They're working 2 weeks a year.
They're the kohanim of the Jewish people. They're the teachers.
I want to learn Torah all day.
They're teachers.
Yeah, of course you do.
That's
why I don't
for me.
Of course you do. That's my point. It literally sounds like the Haredi. Yeah, I agree with you.
That's why I don't like that whole situation.
Even though I
choose that you get to be the one.
I agree that we need people learning Torah, and I think it's beautiful. And it's such a zchut to be able to work in the Beit HaMikdash. I am sure there were people who wanted to be able to. The Kohanim are able to.
Right.
And then they cut. I guess.
And they have to. And then they're going around. They're going around to the different farms. Today.
To collect.
To collect the truma, and the Levi comes. I have the meiser, and the poor people are coming for the payot.
So basically, the Yisrael gets left.
And
all of us losers. We're working the field.
And the Yisrael gets
hard.
Gets the other 89% of the program
that they created. That they worked hard on the field for. To clarify, they get 89% of what they and Hashem worked on the field.
Right, and also today we're going to separate off a tenth of our profit, and we're going to give that to the poor people. Because even though we're working hard, but we can't say I did it. To say, Hashem helped me to do it.
Yeah.
Without Hashem, we're
For
not
sure.
going to accomplish too much. Without the sun, without water, without land, we can't do
Sure.
much.
I love the concept of Meiser, giving a tent to poor people, but it's just hard when either if you're throwing it in the garbage or if you feel like you're giving it. It's just hard to give. It's not about giving it to people. I'm happy to give it to people, but you just want to feel that it's giving it to people who are worthy.
Right.
That's all.
Okay, well, that's true. Sometimes, like, the poor people may not seem like so poor, So,
I'm happy to give it to poor people.
There's no poor people.
Wait, I
in
know what you're
Israel.
saying.
Yeah.
There's no poor people in Israel.
okay, let's go back to the idea here. We'll have more time. We'll have more time for after.
Hashem is helping everyone.
Amen. But Malun, some people here are very poor.
Okay, we'll have more time after this.
Jumping for joy if they could get this right now. Kids are starving.
Number 9.
Yes.
There's a dispute of whether what about noodles? Would you think, how do you make noodles? Anybody make noodles?
In Italy, I did.
What?
I was in Italy, in Venice, and I learned how to make noodles
Okay.
with the noodle masters.
Oh, wow.
Like,
So
in
what
Venice.
do you start with? Do you use flour and water to start with?
Yes.
Eggs.
And eggs.
Eggs, flour and water and eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you bake it? Do you bake the noodles?
Well, if you're making in this process, you boil it.
You boil it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
No, like we made like ravioli pasta.
okay. So right now we take. In other words, well, spaghetti. Spaghetti was like when you buy it in the box. It's not baked, right? It's just like flour and water and eggs. Maybe eggs also, okay. And then you boil it in water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no challah is necessary, right? Well, let's say you make kugel. You make lasagna, right? You're taking noodles and now you're baking it. What do we say about the bagels? We're boiling it, now we're baking it. Same thing with noodles. We're boiling it, now we're baking it. However, it says that there is a dispute. Why is it a dispute? Do bagels are boiling and baking.
And you still do
Noodles is boiling and baking. What's the difference? I'll tell you the difference.
one of the
Bagels look like bread.
Yeah.
Noodles, even when you bake them, they do not look like bread.
Who cares how it looks?
What? Because it has to have, in order to be obligated in the mitzvah of challah, it has to have the form of bread.
Yeah.
So these do not have the form of bread.
Makes sense.
So if you want,
Like what if you make? Oh, I just realized. Let's take.
so if you want, you could take challah without a blessing. If you with it, like it has to have a lot of kilo of noodles, right? That's a lot
That's
of
only if
noodles.
you made it, right? Let's say
What?
I go to the store. Let's say how my mother does it. She goes to the store and she buys 2 bags of noodles for kugel. It's a
Yeah.
type of. You don't take from that. No
Doesn't take challah.
way. Right.
But she's making with a kilo of noodles? No.
No, but let's say she was. Let's say she was making let's say she was a waitress, a caterer.
Right,
No, but we
right,
buy.
for cater. So that's what's suggested
Even if
here.
you buy pasta from the store.
Yeah.
To take
'Cause you're-
bought pasta, I never.
Because now you're baking it. It's your, you could, we know that it wasn't baked. We know that challah wasn't taken. Now you're baking that product from flour and water. So here it says, it's recommended to celebrate challah without a
It's
blessing.
like even if you
It's
didn't make
because
the
of
pasta,
machloket.
even if it's not homemade pasta, still.
Right, even if it's not. Because you're making the kugel, you're making the lasagna.
And also, my other question is, wait, I just forgot. Rachel, what did you say a second ago? That
Who
doesn't.
cares how it looks?
That there are certain things that, like croutons, that doesn't look
Crouton.
like bread, but it's made out of bread. Do you take from that? You know, like if you make croutons out of bread, out
From-
of like, I don't know, isn't it made out of bread?
Yeah, but I feel like you have to separate
Well,
the bread when you make bread.
when
and
you make
bake
the
it.
bread,
But
you
let's say
already.
you bought croutons that look like bread. Let's say let's say you
Well,
buy
I would think usually
dough that looks like croutons.
if it
You're gonna
was
cook
if it was croutons, and I would assume that when they made those croutons, they took challah from it. If you're in doubt, then you could take challah from it. But it would need, that is the form of bread, it's flour and water.
Yeah.
You need to take challah from it. If you start with that amount, of more than 1 kilo, 1.1 kilos. So if you have a doubt, then you should maybe, take a little crumb from your crouton, but if you just have a few croutons, you don't have to take it. What?
The crouton's essentially like double baked bread.
Oh, well,
Wait,
That's what I'm saying. It's like bread that's baked like twice.
Right.
I have a question.
yeah.
Do you take challah from sufganiyot?
Sufganiyot is also a question. How do you make sufganiyot?
I don't know.
It's boiling it like the donuts. They're donuts. That's the donuts, right? Take it without a bracha. But it's not baked, it's boiled. Yeah, but it is a thick dough, not like a crepe. And it's the result is, the process is totally different, but the result is like baking it.
Yeah.
The result of deep frying is like you baked it. So you need to take it without a bracha. And I left out one here. I saw that I left out number 6. Some people, they hold by the Chazon Ish, and you're supposed to take double the amount, right? Not 1.1, but 2.5 kilos. Then you say the bracha. Not 1.5, but 2.5. That's what the Chazon Ish says, because they had this idea that all the eggs and all the fruits became miniaturized after the destruction of the temple. And all of our measurements are both linear and by volume. By volume we go by the egg. By linear we go by size of the thumb. So they, like about 200 years ago, the Shlach HaKodesh, he measured the size of the Omer, and he measured the size of the egg, and he said, something's going on here. I'm getting not 43.2, I'm getting 86.4 eggs. Something is off here. Must be the eggs are half the size than what they used to be. So then the Chazon Ish and all these other people said, okay, so you have to double everything. But if you study the Rambam and you study the Gemara and you study Rishonim, then you see when it talks about the size of the thumb, it's not talking about the size of the thumb at the wide part, it's talking about the size of the thumb from the short part. And so therefore, and since when you take the volume of that, it's to the third power. It's going to mean even a small difference between the wide part and the small part is going to now give you, instead of an egg of 100 cc's, it's going to give you the egg size of 50 cc's, which everything works out now. You don't have to double everything. It's just a question whether you're measuring your thumb from the wide part or the short part. Yeah, I can show you this later if you want, but in any case, take my word for it. You don't have to double it. You can go by 1.1 kilos, and that's enough. And but some people, like the Rebbitzin, she likes to go by the Chazon Ish. I don't think she does anymore, but she used to. That's what people always used to say before they that's what they used to say. That's what some strict people used to say. In any case, you want to bake 2.5 kilos of flour at once, because you want to be sure that you're saying the bracha, you're taking challah with the bracha. So a lot of people would take a large amount, 2.5 kilos. How many chalot are we going to eat for Shabbos? Maybe if you make them small, so you need 2 for each meal. So 2, you have 1 challah for each meal. So maximum 4 chalot, maybe 1 kilo is enough for a small family. So what are you going to do with the rest of it? Okay, put it in the freezer. Tastes pretty good. That challah that you baked and now you froze it. So you did great. You baked you made a lot of dough, you baked a lot of chalot, and you took challah with the bracha. What if you said, wait, I'm going to be really smart. I'm going to make a lot of dough, 2.5 kilos, and I'm going to take half that dough and bake it, take the other half, put it in the freezer, and bake it next Shabbos. would you need to take challah with a bracha or not?
Yes, because you made it all.
You made the dough.
Yeah.
So that's what it says here, number 6. Even if the dough is divided so that some will be baked now, some will be baked next Shabbos, challah must be taken with a blessing.
So challah will be taken twice.
No, only the first time when you mix it. You made the dough, but now you're not going to bake it all at the same time. That's okay. You made the dough at one time, so you need to do that. What if okay, good. So now let's go to the so that was number 10. A dough which is boiled is exempt from challah, for example, noodles, that we said. What about 11? She divided up the dough to give to different people, to bake separately. So no portion has the merit requiring challah. Challah is not taken. Right? Let's say, well, I'm going to give everybody some of the challah, some of the dough. If they say, okay, great, thanks, and they take it home to bake it by themselves, they don't. She's like giving it to each one the dough. Well, I'm not sure. That's kind of a crazy thing. If she owns the dough, now she's like obligated to take challah. So I think she could take challah, and then she could give everybody the dough to bake separately. Not sure.
That makes sense.
They're baking it separately. I guess that's the thing. If you're going to bake it separately, because it's for different people. I think that's the point. If you're going to be your own dough that you're going to bake it yourself and you're keeping it yourself, then you have to take challah.
Yeah.
If you're going to be giving each portion to each person to bake it separately, even if it's the same Shabbos, then it would be exempt. Because you're giving it to different people. And I have to check that. That's very interesting. Interesting question. Because at one point you did own it all. In any case, all right. But that's what I wrote here. I'm sure I looked it up. Okay, the procedure for taking challah. Before separating the challah, say the bracha, right? We're going to first say the bracha. There's some different versions of it, right? Asher kedushan b'tosevet tzivanu la'afrish, to separate. Challah. Some people add the words la'afrish challah min ha'isa, to separate challah from the dough. Either way, it's good.
Isa is dough.
Isa is
like
dough.
It's the old way to say betzak.
Betzak.
I don't know. No, I don't. I'm asking.
Betzak. Well, I don't know. I guess it's, I don't know. 2 different ways to say dough. I don't know. It's not the old way. It's.
Oh, I thought maybe it's because it's like Lashon HaKodesh.
I don't know. Check into that. You're the language person. So what's the difference? Must be a difference. One thing I can tell you is there's no word in Hebrew which is like a synonym. Every word that means like they're similar, but they're not the same.
It's because of the different ingredients. Betzek
Wait, is it betzek or betzak?
Besadik kuf.
But how do you pronounce it? Betzak or betzek?
I knew it.
Betzak. Okay.
It sounds like the difference is that I'm gonna check more, but it sounds like it's the difference. It says here, it's in which ingredients are there, because the main thing of betzak is kemach is flour, water, oil, and a little bit maybe of yeast, versus isa. It sounds more like it's a pate, like I don't know, a French, like a pastry almost. It sounds like.
Really? Wow, that's weird.
That's what.
I'm just surprised because, like I said, challah you take from any kind of dough, not just a special kind of bread dough. Any kind. Even you're going to make crackers or parekas, anything.
Isa is a dough rich in fat with little liquid, characterized by a crispy. It's like more like a pastry, like a, what's it called, that
philo dough,
what's
like
that
a
French,
pareka.
like a croissant. Let's say it sounds like
that's philo.
like crispy, crumbly texture. Yeah. Versus betzak is
more like with water.
Yeah.
Okay.
The degree of kneading, and it's the ingredients that makes the difference.
Okay, so I don't know why they use shows
It's like batter
Isa than to Betzak. I don't know. In any case, so whatever bracha you say, or just say Lafish Chala, separate Chala. And then some people add in Mina Isa. So now you separate olive-sized piece or less. If you don't want to waste, you could separate less. And now most people, they declare this piece is challah, zo challah, right? That's the challah, not the bread that you're baking, which is with egg and braided. That's not the challah. The challah is the part that you separate, which is like for the mitzvah, which is the part that's supposed to go for the Kohen. That's the challah. He gets the challah. That's the mitzvah. Double wrap the piece, dispose of it in the trash, or if you don't want to waste it, you can leave it out till it gets moldy and then throw it in the compost. Okay, it's no longer edible, but the danger with that, like we said, is that maybe someone will come to bake it and eat it. Probably no one's going to eat raw dough.
We'll not try it.
What?
Before there is a moldy, we should not try it, right?
Before what?
You're not supposed to. No, you're not supposed
We're
to.
not supposed to try it before it's moldy.
Well, it's like the piece is like no longer edible, or like you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to put it in the compost before it's rotten, because this is holy. This is a mitzvah. This has kedusha. This is something I designate as holy. So that's why, if you're going to put it in the garbage, you have to double wrap it. It's in its own little bubble world. It's not. It's separate from the trash. So otherwise, it would be like a degradation, an insult to that holy mitzvah, right? Or, so the quick way, if you don't want to, so most people, they say, well, we don't want to leave it around. We're just going to, together with the bread, we're going to also bake this, but since it's small, it's going to burn. It's a tiny piece going to burn up, so that's okay, but you don't want the smoke, or let's say the taste from the challah going into your bread, because you're not allowed to eat the challah. You also can't eat the taste of the challah. So that's why you double wrap it in foil, and then the taste of the aroma that also stays in the double wrapping. If you forgot to separate challah from the dough, you must separate it after it's baked. Okay, so that's what we saw by the matzah. You could separate it afterwards. There, we couldn't separate it when we're baking it because we had just a small amount each time. Yes?
You said a couple minutes ago that nowadays kohanim are defiled by death, or like,
Yeah.
what do you
They
mean
can't
by
eat
that?
truma. Everybody is defiled by death, not only the kohanim, but when the kohanim can become purified, then they could eat the truma. When we get the paraduma, right, that brown cow that we need to burn the ashes, has to be a special, very special cow that has no white hairs, no black hairs. Maybe I could have 2 at the maximum. That people are, busy trying to raise them. In Texas, in Israel, there are people working on this, and they can make it maybe for 1 year. It's good, but it has to be 2 years old. So it's very hard to get it. There's only going to be 10 of them. We've already used up 9. So when we have the last one, then we'll be ready for the Mashiach and for the Beit HaMikdash. And then when we get that, all you need is like a tiny bit of the ashes mixed with special spring water, and then we'll be purified, and then we can go to Beit HaMikdash. Before that, we
What
can't even
happens
go
if
in
somebody
there.
during the time of the Beit HaMikdash gets in contact with someone dead, and now they're tummy again?
Yeah, they have to get, ask
what's
the
the
Kohen to, I'm
parasha?
sorry, I became tummy. Okay, I'm coming over, I'll purify you.
No, but how does the Kohen purify himself if he becomes tummy by mistake by going to dead? The paraduma is not going to last forever. It's an animal.
How does he,
How are they going to...
who's the first one that purifies himself? That's what. It's like there's supposed to be somebody that's Torah, so.
No.
They would raise people in a special environment.
No,
That's the people that made it. They would raise children that would never ever go into a place where there could be any question of contact with death. And they were the ones that prepared it they're the ones that would make the other people tahor.
But the paraduma, this cow, is not going to last forever. It's an
You
animal.
just use a small amount each time. They had, after the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, they had it for hundreds of years. They still had
Oh,
for the ashes of the paraduma. They had the ashes, and the Kohanim would still be able to eat truma for hundreds of years until at a certain point. Now it was used up, but it could last for hundreds of years. One cow.
okay.
Wow.
In any case, so one other point, that number 16. What if you forgot to separate challah before Shabbos? So now it's Shabbos. Okay, can we separate challah on Shabbos?
No.
Why not?
I don't know, but I know that it happened once actually at your home. And so I remember
Right.
that, yeah.
And that was a big
That we needed to
embarrassment
What did
to
you do? You couldn't
somebody.
have the whole challah? Because you're not allowed to do borer. That's why I would
could.
imagine.
Not borer.
Fine.
Ah,
No, you're not
well,
allowed,
it is
no, I'm
borer, right.
saying you're not allowed to separate.
Well, that's not, well, it's
and
a
also
good
it's meant to be done before it
question.
was cooked.
Yeah, but borer, remember, is a mixture of two different things that look different. Here, the challah is like mixed up with the part, the chulin that you're allowed to eat,
So why can't you do it?
because it's the last of the 39 malachot, makkah b'patish, the final finishing touch, the finishing touch, right? The final hammer blow, the finishing touch that now tunes the guitar. It now makes it ready to eat. It's also Truman Meiser, makes it now ready to eat. So, okay, it's really like a rabbinical sort of extension of the Torah prohibition. The rabbis extended the makkah b'patish to extend also to taking kala, taking truma, taking maser, or even taking a dish and putting it in the mikvah. Now you're doing the final thing to make it ready to use, ready to eat. So we can't do it on Shabbos. So in Israel, like we had here, we had other challah that we used. We didn't use that.
So you threw that challah out?
No, we didn't throw it out. We waited till after Shabbos, and we took challah from it. After it was baked. We were allowed to take challah after it's baked, but not on Shabbos.
Got it.
However, if you live outside of Israel, where the mitzvah is from the rabbis, it's not from the Torah. The Torah says when you come into the land. The rabbi said, do it also in Chutz La'aretz because it's so important. It's like something the Kohanim can live on even there. It's ready, it's like ready to eat. So do it also outside of Israel there. We're more lenient about it. So you could even do it on Shabbos. What you do is like you separate off a piece and you say, you don't say anything. You just separate off a piece. And after Shabbos, you say, and after Shabbos, you say, this is the challah on what I ate on Shabbos. You separate it off, and then after Shabbos, right, this is sort of like what's called like a retroactive borer. You're separating it retroactively. Like you separated it now, and retroactively you're declaring what I separated off before is now declared challah. So you can only do that outside of Israel where it's not as strict. We're doing the mitzvah, but it's only from the rabbis. Here it's also from the rabbis, but its basis is in the Torah because it's in the land of Israel. So here we're more strict about things like that. Any questions or... Otherwise, if you could ask about anything, here's your chance.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you recover a knife that has been trade?
Okay, well, we're going to have a unit on koshering vessels.
I asked because it happened.
And if it was cutting something cold,
It was cutting tomato, and then we accidentally cut like a piece of meat with it. It was cold
Okay.
meat, but it was tomato also.
tomato is okay.
Yeah, it's not like lemon that it's like counts as
No, tomato is not something that's horrific. But you're saying that the knife was originally used to cut hot dairy things, like cut pizza. Now it has a taste of
yeah.
milk in it. Okay, what if you now use that knife to cut onions that are something that is pungent and harif, you cannot use those onions to cook with meat, because
You mean
that
cook
those
with milk?
what
You mean cook with milk?
the onions now have a taste of milk in them from the hot pizza.
No, she's saying it's a
So
milk
this-
knife, and now it has.
It was a
Butter on
knife that used for what was it used for? How did it become?
It was a dairy knife,
And so it was used for milk.
and it was used for milk.
It was
and
used for
then-
hot
But then she's
cheese,
saying she
Correct.
used it for meat.
and now you
It
used
wasn't
it.
meat, but it.
Or sorry.
Yeah.
And then she's saying
Now you used it to cut tomato, and you want to use that tomato for
Meat,
meat. You're
meat.
allowed.
Call me.
No, and we accidentally cut cold milk
Meat.
meat.
Cold meat.
It was like a sandwich that had like
You
a
cut
little
cold meat with that knife.
with this.
I think would be okay, because the taste only really doesn't become transferred unless you're cutting something hot or
Okay.
cutting something that's pungent, harif, like
So
onion.
tomato is not hurry.
Onion is tomato is not.
Okay, so we can just continue using the knife in this case.
Continue right, but certainly now you used it to cut meat, so before you use it for milk, make sure you scrub it good with
Okay.
soap, with the scrubby
Okay.
water,
Alright.
and that
You don't
cleans
need to
it.
go and put in the mikveh.
The mikvah you do before when you buy new things, you put them in the mikvah. If it's something becomes treif, let's say you used it first for hot pizza, now you use it for hot meat. Now the knife is treif, you have to put it in, boil it in hot water. That's hagala. Boil it in hot water to
Okay.
get all the taste out.
So I have another question about something else that happened to me before. That was me. Like I was.
Does anything else happen to other people? Only? Okay, go ahead.
The knife thing wasn't me, but this
Let's
pot
together.
situation was.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So I was cooking. I was making these like Russian ravioli thing with a milkish. What's it called? Pot with a metal pot. But in Spain, all raviolis are either vegetarian or pork. So I would always do vegetarian. So I forgot that in Israel, like obviously some have meat, and since it was Russian, I don't read Russian, so I didn't
meat.
realize it was meat. So they were frozen. I put them in
Frozen meat.
yeah, so I put them in the milkish pot,
Milky
and
pot.
it was hot water, but I put them in and realized right away. So
Ah.
at that moment, what should I have?
It was boiling water.
It was really hot, but I put the frozen thing in there and then realized like a minute after.
But was it like hot enough that you were you still able to hold your hand in that water? Or it was too hot.
I don't think. I think I would have been able to touch
You
it.
would have been. So then
Yeah.
it's not a problem.
It's not a problem, so it's just like throw it out and
Yeah. I mean,
wash it. And
I don't think anything really happened. It's like it doesn't. Only the taste is going to be transferred when it's hot enough for what we call yad saletitbo, that the hand can't stay in there. Not boiling, but the hand can't. You can't keep your hand in there. It's like it's like that. If it's less than that hot, usually we say it's like 45 degrees centigrade.
What if it was really
Thank you, Rabbi.
hot, but it was
So
super
are you coming to
fast?
Robinson's house?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
If it was really hot and you took it right away,
Yeah,
then
it was like right away, like,
put it in, take it right out.
and they were frozen. Like there's no way that the meat actually
Right,
heat up.
right. It's frozen, so then probably be. And they're covered within the dough,
Exactly.
so I think it would be okay.
Okay.
Rabbi, we're coming to your house. Actually, happens to be. We're all walking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh, okay,
because of the. I'm gonna just write on the group. Whoever's ready, we're leaving in 5 minutes.
okay. So we're gonna next week. We're gonna have a new topic. So see you then.